I'm Bill with American Heritage Properties, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about how we handle tenant screening. Tenant screening is one of the most important aspects of property management overall. Finding the right tenant for your home can make or break your experience as a landlord. It's not that difficult to find the right tenant, but you just have to know what to look for. First of all, don't ever make a decision based on gut instinct. Some of the best professional tenants, as we call them in the industry, those are the bad ones, they are real charmers. You meet them at your property, you show it to them, they will have the best story in the world. I could tell you the best story based on all the things that I've heard over the years. Don't listen to that. You need to look at the facts. And the most important part is the credit report. We run a credit report, but we don't look at the score. Scores can be deceiving. We look at the credit report completely from start to finish. We evaluate every part of it. That's what's really important. You can't just look at how many accounts they have. You have to look at what types of accounts, how much they have in balances, how long have they been open, whether they have any delinquencies. And actually, I'll talk about delinquencies here for a minute because that's a big part of credit reports. 20 years ago, when I would run a credit report, if it had derogatory credit, chances are we would just decline it on the spot. That's changed over the years. Now, there are so many people that have derogatory credit. It just seems like it's a shift in society almost, that more and more people have at least some dings on their credit. So when I'm looking at a credit report, I look, is it isolated? Is it recent? If they have dings in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, that's a lot different than in 2012 they have 7 dings. My perspective is they probably had an event that happened in 2012, it was isolated, and as long as they don't have any derogatory credit since then, they're not necessarily credit risk. That person with dings every single year, that's a person that is a much higher credit risk in my opinion. Those two people might have identical credit scores, but it's the person that has an isolated event that's a lesser risk. So evaluating the credit report is really important. But don't stop there. Check their references. I find so many people don't check the landlord reference. Call them. Get a feel for how they're going to answer the question, how they answer the questions. Do they seem honest when they're talking to you? This is where you have to go with some gut instinct. But have a list of questions prepared when you call. Asking them how long they've been a tenant, when did they move in? If they don't know when they moved in, that might be a friend of theirs talking to you as opposed to the real landlord. The real landlord should have a pretty good idea of when their tenant moved in. But asking questions, will you rent to them again? How much did they pay? Were they delinquent? Some very basic questions for you. And then the third part, very important too, is income. Can they afford the property? We use 2.5 to 3 times as a general guideline for our recommendation. But you want to make sure that the person has the resources to pay the rent. So these are some of the areas that I look at in screening tenants. Add that gut instinct on at the end. That can be important too, but you got to be looking at all the details and the facts first. I wish you luck in managing your property.